Hey, welcome to Mad Dog's After Show. You're along for the ride with Mad Dog and Cole, the Orange County Crusher, Farrell.
Wouldn't be pertinent. Not going to do it.
I decided to fly through the air and live in the sunlight and enjoy life as much as I could, and that's just what I'm doing.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm.
Man, oh man, what a way to start. E97 with those incredible words by Mr. Evil Knievel, flying through the air, living in the sunlight, enjoying life. Remember to take a little time to enjoy life, find some sunlight, and live in it.
Yeah, man. Here we are at the tail end of Veterans Day weekend. We
Correct?
could
Yes.
not do this podcast if it wasn't for our brave men and women of our armed forces. Of course, our first responders that let us
Yep.
do all the wacky stuff us and our friends love to do. We couldn't be more grateful for them. Without them, we literally couldn't do this podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And a special shout out to our veterans and to the families of those in our service that gave all, the families of our MIA and KIA. Big respect from us over here at Mad Dog's After Show.
Yes, sir.
And while we're talking about respect, man, great respect for our great partners, Kicker Performance Audio. I'll get into later in the show. Spending the week at SEMA with Kicker Performance Audio is so much fun. I had a great time. You can find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, on Facebook, Kicker. And of course, every other Tuesday night on their TV show, Kicker Unmasked Live on YouTube and Facebook. And they just had a goodie. They went over all the great brand new products they released. Super cool. All your 12-volt personal audio needs, step it up to the premium line, Kicker Premium Performance Audio. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Badass Eyewear. It's Mad Dog approved. It's the only eyewear Mad Dog approved. Currently, I'm wearing my world famous white Boogie Bombs with the dark smoke polarized safety lens. Got all the bases covered. They've got over 40 styles of frames. I don't even know how many styles of lenses, prescription, readers, blue light, whatever you need. Make your eyes happy. Go to bombereyewear.com or find them on Instagram at bombereyewear for all your needs. Of course, our dude Cole over at the Premix Podcast, making everything happen for this incredible podcast that we're so blessed to do. And of course, sharing all things desert racing, just his love for desert racing through the lens of a camera. Slide into his DMs on Instagram at the Premix Podcast. That's that little at symbol. ThePremixPodcast.
Wow.
Yeah, buddy. Of course, Kelsey Morrell Film. Man, whatever you need from pre-production, post-production, TV commercials, still work, whatever you need, Kelsey Morrell Film. Find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film. And you need websites built, you need social media accounts built, you need them maintained, you need social media templates done. Find Hey Geeks. How do I do that? Well, look online, heygeeks.com, or on Instagram at Hey Geeks Marketing. All your social media and website needs. Dude, episode 97. Here we
Wow.
go. Hard to believe.
Should this be the last one? Is that a good number?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll keep
No,
going
we
then.
promised the Podfather 115. and I have at least that many more guests to get. So we got a ways to go.
So we're contracted through at least 115. If you're listening to this, I mean, we could go 1,000, but at least we'll make it to 115.
I'm hoping to go 1,000. I'm looking forward to it. You
If
know,
we did one
just
every day, we could be done in 3 years.
True. I'm not good at the maths, but I'll go with what you said. So
I don't know what we would talk about.
oh, man, we always find something to talk about.
Go for
It's
hunting,
just
whatever.
the way it
Figure it out.
is. Man, I wanna get right to this, because, dude, your favorite NASCAR driver
Yep.
retired
Yeah.
last weekend, series finale
Yep.
or season finale
Season
at
finale.
Phoenix, and you went all the way out to Phoenix for the NASCAR race for the NASCAR weekend. So fill us in. How was it?
Dude, it was awesome. So just to set the scene, it was like I hadn't, as an adult, gone to NASCAR for quite a while, just because it's usually during desert season, and for what it is, tickets are a little on the pricier side.
Sure.
But when the world shut down, that was one of the sports that was still going. So my brother-in-law really got into it. So I need to thank my brother-in-law Donovan, because he's been the match to this fire that's been going on with NASCAR and reigniting my love for it. So we've been
Awesome.
going to Fontana the last few years. Well, if you follow racing, road racing or asphalt racing any little bit, NASCAR has sold off the majority of Fontana Raceway, the property. And it's really unclear, really sketchy right now whether they're going to make it a short track. The garages are still there, the front straight's still there, but all the rest is like stupid Amazon warehouses because they realized how much the property's worth, yada, yada, yada. So we've been going to Fontana. We just lost Fontana, and then Irwindale was our local track up here,
Yeah.
NASCAR owned, in South LA County, and that's closing at the end of this year. So
I saw that. That's sad.
and then just a snowball of the bummer, I mean, we just lost Lake Elsinore Motorsports Park, which has been there on and off 30, 40 years. So
Wow.
it's just tough right now being a SoCal guy for many reasons. But yeah, so the next move was to go to Phoenix for the NASCAR finals. And I even kind of told my wife this. I was like, I've loved and followed NASCAR all my life, and it's weird to be able to go to this because I never put myself in a category of somebody who gets to go to this, if that makes any sort of
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's what, like, privileged people or whatever, like huge fans, that's what they get to do. So now,
Right.
luckily I was fortunate enough that Donovan bought tickets and was like, let's go do this thing. Let's go NASCAR weekend. It's like, wow, this is cool, man. So that's one of the big things that's been circled on my calendar for quite a while, looking up to this. And the fact it was my boy Martin Truex, it was his last full-time race. And just this is gonna sound weird, but I kind of just hope that was his last Cup race, because my big fear is what's happening to Jimmy Johnson right now, where he's come back to race half the races or a quarter of the races with Legacy Motor Club, and he's in the
Right.
back, and he's a 7-time NASCAR champion, and he's a guy
Yeah.
that's in a car that can barely qualify. And whatever, he's getting older, like, can't blame him for that, but it's like you had this guy who couldn't be beat for 7 years to where they changed the rules to make viewership more interesting, and now he can't even hang on. So if this was Martin's last race, I can say I was there. We all cried it out. We all had a good emotional moment, and right off into the sunset. And he's good friends with I can't believe I'm blanking on his last name right now, but the guy that founded Bass Pro Shops, and he's been a longtime sponsor. So they were selling all this merchandise that just had his car up on a dock and it said "Gone Fishing." It's like, dude, that's cool.
Nice.
I mean, like, you can't ask for a better send off as a driver, something
Sure.
cool like that. So yeah, so it was really exciting to get to go to Phoenix. I know it's always cool to go to a new track and stuff like that. But I gotta say, man, I'm trying to think of something, but there's really nothing that I could nitpick that Phoenix did wrong. Like, it was just good property.
Wow.
Like, luckily we had good we bought parking tickets early because that got insane through the Ticketmasters and all this stuff. Like
Oh,
the
I
day
can't
before, I
imagine.
was seeing parking for like starting at like $162 and going up from there.
Whoa.
You know, and that's not the track. That's Ticketmaster resale and all this garbage. So
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
such is life. But it's so cool. You're right there in Avondale, and you're going by these little ranch houses and stuff, and there's horses and cattle and sheep and all this stuff, and then you just see this massive mile-long complex up against the hill. So we got to park really close, and man, like I would love for you to argue with me. I can take it. You're not going to hurt my feelings, but I think NASCAR put on like a great production at Phoenix. They had like a lot of late model cars, and they had one of Richard Petty's Oldsmobiles, his 789, I should say. What else, man? A bunch of modifieds, a couple sprint cars and stuff, to where it was so exciting to be there early to walk the grounds. They had like a Bush concert center, and so obviously they're trying to entertain to families and people who don't really
Oh,
care about
sure.
racing, and you know, trying to get value in the door. And I was just so happy. I mean, even my wife, who could care less about racing, she was like, whoa, what's this? And we're looking inside the King's car, and she's like, people used to race in these? And you're like, yeah, well, it didn't used to be as safe as it is today. You know, it's
Right.
like you really had to be a man's man to crawl in this steel dungeon. But it was nice. And what was so crazy is like, and I didn't even think about it afterwards, but someone pointed out, they go, you know, it's so weird that it's the NASCAR finals, and it's really not a big track, and there's actually not a lot of seating. And you're like, yeah,
Interesting.
I didn't really think about that either, but I guess Phoenix probably subsidizes NASCAR so much to get the finals there. And they did put so much money into the infrastructure years ago. They completely took the front straight, that's now the back straight, and they took the front stands, removed those, and they moved everything over, like put millions of dollars into this facility. And it's only one midway. There's not a bunch of tiers and a bunch of stairs you got to get through. It's just a really cool track. And we were in the shade the whole day. And you know, say what you want. I'm really not a Logano fan. And if you are, let's argue on Instagram tonight or whenever you hear this, because I have no problem with that. But I have no problem admitting that the format is hokey and it's weird and it's cheesy and it's very strange to talk about the word playoffs and finals when you're talking about motorsports. It is really weird.
Yeah.
But the fact is, they got to do what they got to do right now. And luckily, we don't have some shark pit they jump or loop de loop or ring of fire. They got to do some, you know, electric cars. Let's not get into that.
Oh,
Let's hope that you know, there's warnings here. But
right.
the fact that they have this playoff format that keeps it so easy for the most casual person to follow is really cool. Because
Right.
once again, I'm trying to explain to my wife Devin, and it's like, I'm like, okay, these four guys, they just got to beat each other, and who's ever number one out of these four, they're the champion. And then she's like, well, how come I can't root for Denny Hamlin? I'm like, you can. Well, he's not in it. Yeah, but he can still win the race. So it is as simple
Right.
as it is. There's still like a little traction you got to get.
Sure.
So it's cool because there's guys who have had bad seasons, and especially if they're not a teammate or whatever, you're like, yeah, I could care less about your championship. I still want my couple $100,000 for winning this race or whatever, and I want to come
Right.
into Daytona with the confidence that I won the last race. And so, man, it was just a really, really cool experience. And obviously, I'm super sad to lose Fontana and maybe forever, considering it was just a 2 mile course. One of the places they could go 5 wide. All the IndyCar guys said it was really like a mecca. I mean, they filmed movies there. I mean, you watch
Yeah.
Ford versus Ferrari. It's, you know, a Herbie fully loaded, whatever you want. You know, it was LA's racetrack. But I'm grateful that this happened so that it got me out of my comfort zone and I got to go somewhere else and experience Phoenix. And, you know, I'd always seen it as a kid and always played it on the video games and stuff. And I had a kind of funny moment once it was done. I was like, you know, you always have an idea of what somewhere's going to be like, and then you experience it and you go, whoa, it's just way different. This was not the
Right.
case. I'm like, no, that's exactly what I thought it would look like. Rattlesnake Hill looked exactly how I thought it would, how the sun comes up and over you, the
Yeah.
pits. It was just so funny. I'm like, oh, this having deja vus if I've been there before, just from watching it on TV for 30, years or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, man. So it was just cool. And, Arizona people, like, generally a lot more relaxed than Californians to begin with. And so I couldn't believe how many times I got in conversations, complete strangers, as we're over kind of in the food table section, just kind of relaxing in the shade. People would say, "Hey, how are you? Where are you from? What are you doing here?" And I couldn't believe how many times I'd say, "Well, we're from Southern California." And they go, "Wow, we're really sorry about Fontana and this, that, that." And I go, "Yeah, well, this is why we're here." And I remember this one guy went out of my way to finally get his name and stuff. But Chuck, shout out to Chuck. Chuck goes, "I'm really sad that you guys potentially lost your track, but I'm just really happy that you guys get to be here." And I'm like, "No, dude, thanks for having us." It was just
Right.
it was just a good environment. It was the finals. It was not California. The weather was perfect. Wasn't too hot, wasn't too cold. So, dude, I'm like, of course you have that thing where you get back to the Airbnb that night and you're like, "Oh, let's book tickets for next year." So,
Right.
it's easy to get stuck in the world of seeing what's said online and the negativity, of course, and that's everything. But just to see that many happy race fans in one place was like, all right, this feels good. Like, racing is in a good place right now.
That's really cool, man. And I've been, as far as Phoenix goes, I've never been there. Um, I have watched, I don't even know how many races from Phoenix. Um, and I think Michael Waltrip had the worst wreck he'd ever had in his entire life in Phoenix. And I was watching that live, and
Wow.
there was like literally you assumed he was done. Like,
Right.
there was so little left of the car. You're like, there's no way a 6'6" guy can live in that little brick that was left. And so I have a lot of good memories with Phoenix, but I would sure like to go in person. And honestly, I've never been to a NASCAR series race anywhere in the nation, really. I've been to some regional NASCAR stuff. I've been to a lot of those. I've participated in several, but I've never been to a big series race, and so I've never seen the grand scale. Obviously, I've done some other big scale races,
Oh, hell yeah.
like Petit Le Mans, and it's crazy the difference between watching it on TV and being in person. So I can't imagine in NASCAR where you're dealing still with, V8 engines and the scream of a V8 engine is so very impressive, It's really cool, and also how special to be able to watch your favorite driver retire, that's, I mean, run his last race, if you will, and I'm sure he'll jump back into some other stuff on and off. But yeah, like you were saying about Johnson, you don't want to see, the ex-heavyweight champ get in and just get pummeled,
In multiple series, and yeah,
Yeah.
hasn't been fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I've had cars where we were stuck, for a year racing for 10th place, and it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way it was, but it sucks. And then to be like, 7-time champ and running in the back third, oof, that's got to be tough. And you certainly don't want to see your heroes that way, right?
No. And if anything, it's like, if I could talk to Martin and have a beer with him, I would say, my favorite driver before you was Ken Schrader. And Ken
Yeah.
Schrader is now in his, I think, late 60s, and that dude races like 3 dirt tracks a weekend. I think he does like 1 million miles a year towing his
Yes.
late model car. I'm like, that's what you should go do, is just go have fun at the dirt tracks,
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. And Schrader, yeah, Schrader's amazing, dude. He's
Yeah.
still going. I saw a clip from Dale Jr. Download not too long ago, and they were talking about a story that, I mean, dude's still got it. He's still sharp. He can still wheel a car. Um, but you know, when he was racing, I mean, he was still racing like he was racing NASCAR, uh, you know, or Winston Cup back then. I think it was Sunday mornings, but you know, he was racing 3 and 4 or 5 times a week
Yeah.
at little local dirt tracks.
Yeah, he's the man, and it's like you could go, that's what's crazy about professional racing, right? It's like you could be 18th or 20th at the cup race, but then you would show up to the local race and everybody's like, well, now we're racing for second because Ken's here. That's just the
Right.
level that dude was at.
That was I had the opportunity to see Bill Elliott um, race in Northwest Tour 2 or 3
Wow.
times, and
No way.
that's the feeling. And what's really funny is I don't you probably don't know this. Most of our fans don't know this, but for 4 or 5 years straight, Bill Elliott won the Monroe Speedway Figure Eight Challenge that they ran Friday night before the tour race. Uh, yeah, so he had a
What a
guy there that
trip.
he worked with, and apparently, you know, I've seen him run the figure eight, and there was nobody could hold a candle to him. And like you were saying, it was like, oh, Bill's here, okay, he's gonna win, you know.
Dude, that's so I mean, talk about a multi-million dollar body out there doing figure eight racing.
Right? Yeah, it's crazy, you know, and so yeah, I had the opportunity to see that and firsthand and just go, geez Louise, this incredible. The guy could go to like Wednesday night, Friday night, Saturday night, hit 3 different tracks with a figure eight car, and I'm sure he could make a living
Oh yeah, right.
just
Just
spanking people in figure eight.
show up to the county fair and take the check
Yeah,
on to
yeah,
the next town.
because that's what he used to do in the tour. You know, it was like
God,
you
that's
said,
so
just
nuts.
show up and it's like, okay, we're now racing for 9th place or 5th place or whatever.
Well, that's like I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but Kyle Larson, I mean, he and his brother-in-law Brad Sweet are huge sprint car guys, and they have their own series now. It's like
Yeah,
I think he does NASCAR because that's where you got to be to make a big living, but he wants to be a sprint car racer.
and he's dang good at it.
He's quite talented.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, all things being fair, good, and equal, and our fans probably know this about me, but I stepped away from NASCAR a while back. Um, just they having watched NASCAR from a young child, you know, like we're talking the 70s. Um, it's I'm disappointed with where they're at.
Yeah.
Um, you know, can can they get back there? I think so. Are they going to have to do something? Probably. Um, you know, and all the stuff I listen to and I read, everybody is recommending doing something different with with the playoffs and the
Yeah.
point system. Um, and I haven't followed it enough to be educated about it, so I'm gonna completely stay out of it. Um, you know, really, I mean, I don't know. So, like, I don't want to pop off on something and have a hardcore nasty go, ah, you idiot. You know, I mean, I might be an idiot, but I don't want to be called one.
Yeah.
I don't want to show you how much of an idiot I am.
That's between
Um,
me and God alone.
amen. Amen. So, you know, but I will probably, there's some NASCAR races I will probably watch just because you're into it, you're getting back into it and getting excited about it. And now I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's something to it. But man, I would sure love to see them, you know, get rid of the restrictors
Yeah.
and get rid of the mirror image cars. Everything's a cookie cutter car. And bring some horsepower back and let the guys innovate. I mean, that's where so much of the advancements that we have now even came from innovation way back when, you know?
Yeah, just safety in road cars is a lot of Le Mans and NASCAR, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. So, dude, that's pretty rad. What a great weekend. What a great way to spend the weekend. I'm not even going to bring up the fact that you drove right past me twice
I
without
didn't.
stopping. So,
we
I'm not
we
even
were
going
on
to
the
bring
10, not the 40. So
you were close.
I was close. You're correct.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But you were
but
gone, so let's get into that.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I come to Arizona, you go to Nevada. What's up with that?
You're absolutely correct. I was gone and man, I was at SEMA in Las Vegas. For those of you who don't know, I'm not going to try and explain it. Google it. It'll blow your mind. I have so many friends that are like, "Oh man, did you get to see this? Did you go see that? Did you?" I'm like,
Nope.
"No, I work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in a booth, and then we have meetings or entertainments or dinner or parties, and I'm so very grateful to the Kicker family for bringing me in on this and supporting me, um, and man, dude, they soft launched when I was at IBEX in Tampa. They soft launched some new premium marine products. Um, but everybody knows the big release is always at SEMA, right?
Oh yeah.
And so that was the big release of the premium marine lineup. And it just so happens that the Podfather, Jim Beaver's Kawasaki Teryx KRX 4, um, known as Electra, was there as a featured side by side. And I had done the audio in it. Many of you remember I did the audio last December. And so J Dub pitched at me. He's like, "Hey, what do you think about putting this new marine loaded subwoofer enclosure in Jim's car before SEMA?" And I'm like, "Wow, really?" And so yeah, man, it showed up at my house, and while I was at IBEX, it actually showed up at my house, and I coordinated and got the car up to my place, and I had to fab up some mounts for it. Um, I wanted to use all the OEM Kicker hardware,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I actually had to build some UHMW uh, bed mounts so that it would sit perfectly where I wanted it to and still have room for Beaver's special cooler that he has when he cruises around. So, yeah, no, it came out cool. The reception was great. The car has such great eye with all the neon, neon purple and green and, just blue. And I mean, it's got such good eye. It got
Very
so
90s
much
cowy.
attention. Yeah, very. And, um, they, I mean, I was able to play the audio system that I put together um, for people literally from all around the world.
Wow.
Dealers, reps, people wanted to hear the subwoofer. I was able to say, hop in and, you know, um, I was using a Kicker playlist, and unfortunately, I'm about sick of
Yeah,
hearing
I bet.
my humps, my lovely lady lumps. Check it out. because that was the only one that really had good stout bass in the playlist. So, um, but no, man, SEMA was just rad. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see a lot of vehicles. Viking was there a couple days and she got to see a lot of stuff and kind of did the R&D stuff, taking pictures for me.
Oh,
And
cool.
um, she went out and checked out our good friend Chuck from Pro Eagle
Yeah.
Jacks. Unbelievably incredible. Wow, what an undertaking. I mean, he built a functioning jack as big as a medium-sized SUV
Yeah.
on, I believe, 33-inch or 32-inch real BFG KO3 tires.
Yeah, to match the jack.
Yeah, it matches his jack perfectly, just like way over scale, right? So
Yeah, that was so fun. I mean, I couldn't believe how much attention. I mean, I believe it, but that jack got so much attention. It was all these different websites you looked at. It's like because everything's a car, right? And so now that there
yeah,
was something different, it was like, hey, check this out.
yeah, it was
Good on
really
you,
cool
Chuck.
and well done. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I did get to visit with him a couple times, and actually had the opportunity to introduce him to Mr. Irby, the
Oh,
founder
cool.
and owner of Kicker. And on that note, just real quick, on that note, while they were talking, it was really, for me, really touching. Because they're both innovators in their industry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And continuing to raise the bar year after year. But to see Mr. Irby talking to Chuck and actually you know, sharing uh like nurturing behavior almost um Chuck had mentioned something about, and we all know it, that he's been copied a couple times.
Yep.
Obviously, I've seen the videos on Instagram, and they obviously don't work like the Pro Eagle, but as Mr. Irby told him, he goes, when you're really good at what you do, that happens. And patents and this and that, trademarks, he goes, they only go so far, but your brand is Pro Eagle.
Yeah.
You are Pro Eagle. That is you. That is your brand. That is your value. And it was really cool just to see them interact. And I kind of digress on a soft side there, but it was just really touching, and then it was cool. I got to see our good buddy Clay Milliken.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, Clay and Jeff Lutz came by the booth between autograph signings elsewhere. Cruz Pedregon,
Wow.
longtime Kicker partner, stopped by Tuesday, was doing autograph signing. Of course, I saw Mia Chapman, which, by the way, huge congratulations, little Miss Mia Chapman, for winning a 2024 Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame Impact Award
So good.
in short course.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's huge. I mean, she's like what, 21, 22? It's just it's fantastic. Of
Yeah,
course,
people.
Jim Beaver, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's like people who are deserving of it, they got to wait normally 40, 50 years to get that kind of accolade, and she's doing it at 21. And and like
Right,
I always say, it's like if you want to be a winner, you come on this podcast, and good things happen.
right. Well, and we can prove it because, Scotty Dubler,
Scotty Dubler.
Hot Shoe Hall of Fame. I'm sure Jim Beaver is in the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame. Seth Quintero, Impact Award. Mia Chapman, Impact Hall of Fame Impact again. So, yeah, you could be onto something there. You could be onto something. This is a hot ticket, folks. Um, and but that was really cool. You probably saw the picture. Horny Mike stopped by And if you don't know who he is, just Google him. Counts
It's nothing bad,
Customs.
nothing crazy.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy, and well, I always have so much fun seeing him. I got to see uh, Kevin from Kindig Design stop by for a bit. Chip Foose stopped by to
No way.
get. Yeah, he stopped by to get. He was joking around with everybody that he stopped by to get John Myers' autograph.
Yeah.
Who John is a very humble, longtime kicker specialist. He's a trainer, but pretty much any kicker backed SEMA award winning hot rod, John Myers did the install on.
Wow.
So yeah, he's very humble, but he is a man. When I have technical issues, I call him.
He's the man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it was just great to spend so much time with the kicker family all week, J Dub, Bang Bro, my dude Fletch, Chase, the boy with the hair. It was cool. And we did hair tricks every day with Alma Gates Bronco, which is just sick. And we actually closed the show Friday, 3:59:59. I closed the show in the Bronco because the show closed at 4, and stood up to the Bronco for 1 minute.
Love it.
Yeah, my ears were popped for
Yeah, what
like
are they gonna do?
6 hours.
Kick you out?
No, it was rad, but holy cow, like my body was vibrating, my ears were popped. I probably should have used, like earplugs or something, but I didn't want people to see a soft side of me. So
Kicker, enjoy responsibly.
amen. Amen. So yeah, SEMA was just crazy good.
That's
Got to see
cool.
Nicole Johnson.
Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, I saw the photo. Yep.
Yeah, and she's been doing some great new stuff. You get the chance, folks. Her YouTube channel is Nicole Johnson's Off-Road Adventure, Off-Road Detour.
I think adventure.
Yeah, if
It'll
you
pop
look it up, she is a fireball. She is so awesome. And just seeing the whole crew there, so crazy. I can't even tell you how many people that I got to see and hang out with, and it's just so much fun. And yeah, man, home for a couple days, and then hopped on a flight yesterday morning up here to Reno, which this race will be over by the time we get it out there. But the 24-25 AMA Kicker Arenacross season is kicking off Friday with race 1, Saturday with race 2 in Reno, Nevada. So I'm once again in the legendary Nugget Hotel and Casino in Reno, way up, way up in the air, about 300 feet in the air right now, with a great view of the Victorian Square. So that's pretty cool at night. But series is going to be changing up a lot of things, and I'm kind of interested to hear what you have to say. Dude, there is a lot of guys that have either that were wrapping their careers in Supercross, or they just flat jump ship.
Yep.
And have come to the AMA Kicker Arenacross. And so it's going to be, if Kyle Peters wins number 6, it's going to be even more challenging than last year.
Some big names coming. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw Isaiah Clark's coming back. Kyle Bitterman's going to be here. Ryan Brees is back with a Honda back team.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a factory Honda team, but they're a Honda dealership team, stepping away from the Yamaha. So that'll be interesting.
Mr. Mike Alessi joining the party.
Yeah, I heard Mr. Alessi's going to be here. I look forward to seeing him. I don't know if he's going to be here in Reno, but yeah, man. And then some other big names like so I'm waiting for you to chime in here. Uh, Justin Bogle
Yeah, that's
on
I don't know. You tell me. I don't.
Stark Varg.
Okay, so I didn't. Okay, yeah, we'll get into this, but yeah, I didn't know
Yes.
that. I didn't know that that was his full-time gig on the
Yeah.
Stark. Yeah.
I think he's racing too, but uh, I mean, not that that's not going to be racing, but so let's just jump into it
Yeah.
because everybody knows where I stand on electric vehicles. And to preface that, I got to Reno, and we've had our fair share of shitty rental vehicles.
Yep.
All I wanted was a Kia Soul or something similar. Um, they were nice enough to give me the Dodge Hornet.
Interesting.
That's a good word for it. It's a micro SUV, I would call it. Um, I went over and I got in it and I pushed the start button and it didn't start.
Good.
And I
Yep.
pushed the start button and it didn't start and it didn't start. And I kept trying and I'm like, great, what a way to start. I'm in this crappy Dodge and now it says sport and it won't even start. And I'm looking at the dash for the tachometer and I realize it's a hybrid.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
What are we
it
doing,
was
Dodge?
actually running on
But you just didn't know it.
electricity. I didn't know it. So yeah, idiot spot on me. But yeah, that being said, it has a sport mode and its gasoline engine backup is turbocharged.
So hybrid turbocharged Dodge Hornet.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah. So I'm not crazy about the electric side of it, but I will tell you, it rips.
That's what had a big marketing thing about how torquey it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be
Yeah.
dorky, you might as well be torquey, I guess.
I guess, right? I mean, I broke tires loose getting on the
Did
on
you?
ramp. Yeah, at like 35. So
That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, I'm basically trying to see how bad of fuel mileage I can get this weekend.
Yep. Take this
So
hybrid system.
yeah. So
So
that
going
lead
back
up,
to, yep.
that lead up is all a segue to the new AMA class called Pro X that will be debuted this weekend at the AMA Kicker Arenacross. And for those of you who don't know, the Pro X class is Cole
Electric.
electric motocross bikes. And Justin Bogle is going to be on one. And they actually have some other big names that are going to be riding them. I don't know how many pros they have in the class. I know Stark has 4.
Like Stark
So
factory team or just guys on Starks?
yeah, I'm assuming it's a Stark factory team.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean it's well, let's take it for what it's worth. It's good that it's not the only option to go motorcycle racing and arena
Thank
cross.
God, right?
Um, I'm just trying to put a positive. Let me try to put a positive spin on it real quick, okay? See if this helps you at all. But if I had a friend, which is a stretch, but if I had a friend and they wanted to get into riding motorcycles and they don't come from a mechanical background and they could afford a new bike, I don't think it's a horrible option because of how easy the maintenance is. Now, is it a pro class? I don't think so, but will they sell any because someone who's not a motorcycle rider sees one in the stands? Maybe, you know?
You know what? That I accept that. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. Um, as I totally understand what you're saying and it makes sense. It does make sense. I do not like them. And maybe that'll change, you know. Maybe I'll see the competition and go, whoa, those are, you know, unbelievable. Um, I mean, I've seen them race e-bikes in the uh Endurocross series,
Yep.
and I have not gone, whoa, that's unbelievable. I've gone, wow, I wonder how many times he's going to get lapped.
Right.
So, you know, I'm still a fuel burner. Fossil
Yeah.
fuels are the way to go. Me and David Freiberger, I guess, but burn more gas. But couple of things. One, I guess running heat races and main events with e-bikes gives the arena's air evacuation system an opportunity to catch up from the real bikes. And, you know, it'll be interesting. It may draw in some new fans, you know. Maybe there's some Tesla owners that go, oh, wow, look at that, you know. They're pros racing. I'm going to become, I shudder at the thought of a 5-year-old kid looking at it going, oh, I'm going to become a pro electric bike racer. That
That's odd.
just makes me want to barf.
It's
Um,
goofy.
yeah, you know, I'm not a fan of electric anyways. I do, I do understand that there are certain instances where they are good, um, and where, you know, for people, not good. They're obviously horrible for the environment, no
Very
matter
bad.
what anybody says. They're awful. But I know people that commute 20 miles a day each way and have free supercharger at work.
Free money.
You know, for them, it makes total sense. Um, if you're doing a cross country trip, towing a boat,
No.
it's a horrible idea.
It's more like a crosstown trip.
Right. If you're lucky.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. Jury's out. It'll be interesting to see, you know, by the next podcast, maybe we'll know. So, there's a lot of changes showing up. The track, which you've had a sneak preview to
Yes,
now,
thank you.
is completely different from anything we've ever ran at Reno, and they're claiming that that is a Supercross Pro triple in the middle of the track.
74 feet peak to peak. If they want to be
I would guess they're probably on that, judging by the look of it. So,
interesting. Wow.
pretty impressive. And they were building whoops as I was leaving today, and they look like last year's. They look big.
Yeah, okay.
So,
All right.
you know, it's going to be tough, but with a lot of it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I'm stoked, you know.
Yeah, it just seems, I don't know, just I don't know if you feel this way because you're on the road, but it feels like it's been a while since Arenacross and Kyle Peters just won his championship, you know. So it is very exciting that it's back. Like between that and Endurocross, and we're kind of in a, you know, my NASCAR is over now, so I'm excited to
Right.
get back to two-wheel racing here.
Yeah, for sure. And it's you know, it feels like it's been a long time, but it's only been since March, right?
That's crazy.
So,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, and here we are going into, you know, a whole new season. So, pretty excited about it. You know, this is my 7th full-time season with
Wow.
the Kicker Arena Cross series, and you know, I'm blessed for beyond imagination to be able to continue to do it, you know. So,
That's huge.
um, yeah, I'm pretty excited. So with that, Cole, we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
parting statements,
Parting.
Arena Cross, World Supercross, Endurocross, NASCAR. What you got?
Baja 1000 is tomorrow.
Yes.
So prayers to all the competitors, prayers for safety for all the crew members and the fans. They already had a big hiccup in contingency today as far as safety concerns goes. So not being vague and weird about it, a couple people got hit in contingency today by, they claim, a stuck throttle pedal, but the video doesn't show that. So let's just have a good, clean race day. Hopefully no drama. Hopefully some great racing. And yeah, Viva La Baja.
Viva La Baja. And how about the guy that's going to attempt to Ironman it on the Triumph?
Yeah, I defended him online. I hope he has a good time. Hope he has a good showing. People want to act like it's kind of a sideshow, but I don't take it that way. I think it's hard enough to do it on the nicest equipment you can, and if he pulls it off on this thing, it's some big huevos in that dude.
Yeah, even if he finishes, man,
Yeah,
it will be a huge win, right? So impressive for sure. So right on, man. This was a good one. I really enjoy your candor and insight on NASCAR. I really appreciate that.
Well, like I told you, I'm like, it's not a perfect series, but just enjoy it while we got it.
Yeah, for sure. And even more impactful statement with tracks getting shut down in Southern California, coming to, hopefully someone will bail them out. Something will happen, but it's California. So
yeah, we hate fun. It says it on the flag right under the bear.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, man.
Well, dude, have a good weekend out there. Send lots of Snapchats.
Yeah, I sure will. It's going to be a good time. I can't wait to see the finished product of the track tomorrow morning when I get in.
Cool.
Yeah, it's going to be rad. And with that, man, I just want to say incredible thank you to our awesome sponsors, Kicker Performance Audio. Find them online, kicker.com, on Instagram at Kicker Audio, Facebook, Kicker. Every other Tuesday night live on their TV show from the Kicker Studios, Stillwater, Oklahoma. Kicker Unmasked Live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. Of course, Bomber Eyewear, Bomber Safety Eyewear, Bomber Floating Eyewear. Keeping your eyes happy for more years than you can count. Keeping my eyes happy now for 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, Tommy and the gang got it figured out. They want to be the blue jeans of sunglasses. They are economical. They're ANSI 87 OSHA-approved safety lens available. They got blue light. They got mirrored. Over 40 styles of frames. Man, whatever you want, look them up. BomberEyewear.com or on Instagram at Bomber Eyewear. Of course, the Premix podcast and our super dog, Cole, sharing his passion for all things desert racing through the lens of a camera. Also booking into 2025 for your announcer and MC needs. Find him on Instagram, the @ symbol, ThePremixPodcast. That's at the Premix Podcast. Kelsey Morrell Film, you find her on Instagram at Kelsey Morrell Film for all your video production, pre-production, post-production, all through production, and your photo still work needs. Look her up. I mean, she takes what we do and makes it into beautiful art for our YouTube channel, where you can find us at MAddOG'S Space Media. And thank you all for tuning in, subscribing over there, really gaining traction. Really appreciate it. Everything you see there is compliments of Kelsey Morrell Film. Of course, Hey Keeks Marketing, from all our logo work, our social media templates, just, man, she does a great job. Anything you need, from websites built to websites maintained, need a shopping cart added, you need a social media account made, you need a social media account built, anything you need, You need a social media influencer full-blown campaign? She can handle it. Yell, "Hey Keeks," or find her online, heykeeks.com, on Instagram at heykeeksmarketing. Dude, the speech.
Make sure to rate, review, subscribe on your favorite streaming platform.
Wow.
Whoa.
So good.
Thank
So
you.
smooth. Thank you for jumping on. We're going to get out of here. I just want to say thank you to all my kicker family for the great time at SEMA. Thank you to all our fans and loyal listeners. God bless our first responders. God bless our troops. God bless our veterans. God bless America. Mad Dog out.